FXBros.
What's up, people? We are back live. I'm trying to get the link sent out. One second. I don't know what it's doing. Let me see while we wait, because I might have to email this. Let's see. Okay. Send. Let's see. Hey there. Okay, so link is out. All right. Got the link sent. We good. I had to update Telegram on the computer. Previous weekly range. Let's do that first. So if we look at last week, which was this is Friday or Monday. So basically this was our range right here. We had a previous weekly high, we had a previous weekly low, and then a middle ground. As you can see, on Monday we ran the high. And not only did we ran that high, but we actually ran the highest wick, which is the week prior to last week. And that was as high as we got on the daily. We started to sell off from there, and then we swept basically by a few pips. If you look here, we swept the previous weekly low, so I could even dial in better on that. So the low was there, and that was 59. came all the way down to 58. So 1 pip under that low, we swept. And then the market is starting to been trading up. Let's see what they look like on the 4-hour. We just got a bullish engulfing on the 4-hour. After sweeping that low. So let's go jump at some buys right now. About to hop at some buys on you. Let's look at some of the other pairs also. Only thing I don't like is what a 1 hour's position, even though it did kind of break through the structure to the left, but I don't like it still. We don't get in because we don't like we get in because the setup is there for the most part. We'll have a clean range as clean, but we do have a target. I would say ultimately looking at the 4-hour, we break past this structure of 63, like 63.05. And take bracket would be 63.25. Like 20. What's up, brother?
What's happening, man?
You already know.
Another Sunday.
Hey, yeah. See what's going on. Just looking at what happened off this previous weekly range. I was talking about how we ran the highs on Monday of last week. That was pretty much the highest we did get. Then we started selling off on Tuesday, and we came all the way down to the previous weekly low on Friday. That's when we swept that low point on Friday on the daily. And now we're pushing higher right now as we speak. That led into a, if you look at the 4-hour, you see the sweep happened on Friday morning, that 8 to 12 candle. And from that, we got a bullish engulfing on the 4-hour. I would say looking at this, if you happen to buy, it's cool. I would say the turning point is us breaking above 63.05. If we break above that, then the next target would be 63.25. So we got a lot of room to go.
Yeah, I like buys early this week, like you said, upwards to that
Weekly,
area,
about to set these parameters from last week.
and then I can see it.
But we did get that bearish engulfing on the weekly.
Hello,
Oh,
you hear me?
yeah, you muted. I was about to say, going forward, you might have find a way. I know it's difficult, but find a way to disable your mic or
I
maybe
mean,
use
I'm
the.
I'm on my laptop right now, so it should be working fine.
No, it's not. Because they sent me an email saying they fixed the bug and all that. Like I got the email from support. I wrote them niggas back like it still ain't working.
Uh, so can you can hear me right now, right?
Yep, yep.
All right, but yeah, like I said, I could see some buys early, but we're in a lot of consolidation right now, so we'll have to
Yes,
wait
we
to
are.
closures above, I don't know, like 63 flat. Did you say that?
Yeah, I was saying 6305 just to be
Well,
even
yeah, even for
tight.
sure, yeah.
But yeah, you're right. 63 flat. We get some closures above that, then we could, like I said, the next level would be 63.25.
Yeah.
So take profits.
But I did see that weekly engulfing, but that wick I think is more than the body.
The bullish wick. I mean, what the top wick.
Yeah, the top wick of that.
Yeah, it does look like it. I could measure it. Let me see. The wick is 71, and the body is 49. So yes.
See, so what I can see is a possible wick fill, like go up there, but I don't see any closures. I can see it reach up towards that wick area, fill a little bit as far as like price, and then
Probably up to like 63.60. Like come up
yep,
there,
yep,
maybe struggle. Right up here, 63.60, 63.80, maybe come up in this range.
probably, yep, and then I can
Yeah,
see it kind of make its way back down technically.
yeah, yeah. I can see that. I can see that. I can see that. Big round would be why that shit ain't working, man. Hey,
Say what?
so I don't know why that the mute button stuff ain't working.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's looking like we could see buys. Like I said, you might have 20 to 30 pips of profit depending on where you enter at. If you catch buys, if we do push higher to 63.25, but that's all a lot of ifs. If and when we break above certain prices, so we're just gonna have to wait for that. We could attack these lows. The market could sell off and attack these lows, and then we can continue selling off. So that could be another scenario, but it'll be best to be patient and see how this daily is going to close also. So tomorrow and Tuesday will be a better indication of what sales is going to look like, especially since we got this nice 4 hour engulfing, even though it did enter into this minor consolidation on the 4 hour, but it is an engulfing and it's bouncing off this old support coming from March 10th and March 11th. 12th, 13th, all that week. So we're going to monitor that. See how we react to that. Let's take a quick glance at the, see what the news is going to be looking like this week. Last week we kind of slipped up on the news. There was a lot of stuff that happened. A lot of volume that was later found out that it was news. I know for me, especially that I think it was AU inflation rate and interest rate came out. That shit pushed the market like a market. But Sunday we just had news, market open. So that might tie into this bullish engulfing we have. We did have AUD news at right at market open. Monday, we got global services, global manufacturing. Tuesday, and that's at 8:45. Yeah, I think it's 8:45. I think it's an hour ahead. Do that same time. Tuesday, new home sales. I think that's gonna be at 9. Monthly CPI indicators coming off of AU at probably 1900 or 730. We'll confirm on this. I know daylight saving time going to throw on these times now. But I think it's an hour ahead based on this, because if you look at Wednesday, we got durable goods coming out. Says 6:30, but normally that's 7:30. So yeah, it's an hour ahead. Thursday, same thing. Initial jobless claims. We got GDP growth rate and goods, trades, balance, all coming out at 7:30 on Thursday. And then Friday, personal income, personal spending. So that's gonna be good to see where's our spending. I think we kind of have a general idea. Nothing is really falling apart. So people's spending is pretty decent according to prices. Anything else as far as other pairs? Retail sales for GBP. Nothing too crazy. Inflation rate, GBP on Wednesday, it's coming out at 2 a.m. So DJ might get a lot of move. But other than that, it's going to be pretty decent. Nothing too crazy. I would think our typical Thursday news release is just going to be probably the heaviest. We're going to see. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that, and also the New York stock exchange when that opens.
Yes.
That's been going a little crazy, and the London session has been going crazy due to all the back and forth and tariffs and stuff like that. So,
gotcha. So we definitely might want to be looking at taking heavy consideration on London setups and everything.
For sure. Or, when you have some positions that you want to ride into, like on some intraday shit, like going into a different session, then, I would have your, just make sure you're taking care of risk when you're doing those, because it's been very volatile on those crossover sessions.
Right. Let's see, the dollar sold off heavy. Kind of starting to turn up. Not too crazy just yet. S&P showing some signs of wanting to buy back up, but nothing too crazy, nothing as detrimental as these sell-offs. S&P lost a good little bit. So roughly like 9.5%, 10% in that 2-3 weeks span. US 30, similar, starting to see a little signs of pullback, but we'll see if we're going to struggle at this old support, now turn resistance. See if we're going to turn into a bearish trend, or we're going to break back up into this consolidation, this whole conglomerate. I think the same thing is not so much as yet with the S&P. We do have some old support right here that we're struggling with, but we got much more other levels as we go higher. So we'll see how confident investors are trying to get back into these markets. Everything else was a major sell-off. Like Jay was saying, that's all tariff scares. People getting in. Let's see what gold doing. Gold not really showing on them. I mean, we had a heavy rejection here off of this minor little structure of support. Oh, resistance turn support. Not really significant. This is the daily. But gold is just been on a nice little run. I would think the next daily candle for sure is going to tell a lot for gold, whether it's bullish. We get a nice engulfing maybe, even though it's at the top. Bearish, we need to monitor how it's going to close at these wicks. I mean the body. Are we going to close below it and start to have a melt off? People getting out of gold. What they put their money into, we have to follow the money and see. But gold is been a hot commodity ever since 2025, as you can see. It's January 2nd, right there. Nice run up on gold. Euro. Had an explosive situation at the beginning of March. UJ kind of figuring it out. Nothing to sign up for just yet. GJ, I mean, if it did, it would be nice. Having some kind of an explosive situation to the upside. Still got a lot of levels to fight through. Looking like they're struggling right here at 194.6. 194.7. So that would be the first level for us to break past before we start talking any kind of bullishness with GJ, AJ. Similar scenario, we did break past this structure, kind of like AU did, but we instantly started to sell off. You can see AU kind of broke past this little minor structure right here, and then we started to sell off. So AJ is kind of having a similar thing. So that means the yen is not really shifting Australian dollar based on what it's doing to the US dollar or the Japanese yen. So the tariffs is affecting people right now. Because prior to that, everybody was on a nice little run. You know, they was controlling their own fate, especially around this time in August. I think that was it. But EJ, I would say, looks the best out of all of them, in my opinion. With a bullish engulfing here, we got a nice little trajectory of where we can, we already broke past structure levels, tested it to the downside, and continue higher. So we get a nice engulfing. We got a nice potential move to attack all these highs. So who knows? We could probably come as high as 165 on EJ. I would say the euro, the dollar, and like you said, I think you said the Canadian dollar was something to look at. It's probably has the most interesting. Probably the yuan, Chinese yuan too, especially with all the dealings we got with them. Probably gonna have a lot of volatility with all these tariffs going on. People got to scramble around, moving their money around. Who knows? Bitcoin starting to trend back upwards. Not a big trend, but just from that low, it's not making any more lows. We were kind of on a bearish trajectory for the longest, kind of since towards the end of the first month, January. I still think there's more room and more probability for Bitcoin to drop. I don't think the excitement is there. I mean, of course, it's there for the hedge funds and everybody else and the Black Rocks. They're accumulating, which is still a good buy right now. But I think for people trying to get them key prices, like, oh my God, I really do see 70, a strong 70, in the range of 72 and 52. What I got right here. I feel like prices can kind of tap, even if they get a whip. Like if you just had buy orders sitting at 72K, I believe that prices you can get into the market on Bitcoin. I mean, we already touched 76, so not to say that we can get to 72, but came down here for a reason. I feel like that reason was broken back at 92. There was a lot of buys at 92, 95,000. And we broke past that. We tested that level and then sold off some more. Like, that's all we needed to see. And even with the movement that we have with buys in Bitcoin, it has been significant. As you can see, we've been getting a lot of bearish engulfings in these moves. Nothing really just spiked up. It's just been a lot of uncertainty. People really just unsure about it. If they holding, they're holding. If not, it's a lot of quick profits being taken with these little up and down moves. That's pretty much the same right now with crypto. We got Ethereum under 2K. XRP is holding pretty strong, especially looking since December. We haven't had any lows broken, and I would say all of them. XRP, what's the best? I might be a sleeping giant right now. $2.42. Just like I said, look, this year, February, market came all the way under $2. Think how many people are accumulating at $2.
Damn, yeah, that's crazy.
Came under $2 several times. Actually, it did it in March 1st and March 11th. Nobody was talking about that.
Yep.
XRP under $2. Yeah, all it would take is for them is for Swift to convert over to the XRP, the Ripple blockchain, or whatever the case is, and it's over with. It's over with. People been talking about a easily potential for I think it was a 1 to 10K XRP. So yeah, I would say besides something like Solana, which probably got a very, very, very long-term outlook, I would say XRP would be the one. If you stumble upon 10, 20, 30K and you feeling like you want to go crazy and be in the news, I would probably put it in that because they got the most upside potential as far as what the news is saying. Granted, XRP isn't the only coin that does what it does. There's other coins that facilitate, the movement of money and taking over payments for like governments and all kind of shit like that, banks and everything, different institutions. But I know they are like the front runners right now, especially with the publicity they got with all that legal shit. But yeah, XRP is looking real strong. They're not breaking no lows. Something you can't say for a lot. If you look at Nvidia, it's been trading under, so that's what's been keeping probably the S&P and everything down. Lyft is fighting, holding at $11 for the past week or two. Uber has been getting a nice push up. I don't know, I guess it's just a great stock to get behind. It's like one of them bulls. When it's buying, everybody get in buys before the CEO sells stock. I don't know what makes Uber, or maybe they get into another crazy lawsuit. But TSM is looking ugly. It's been selling out since the beginning of the year. I don't think they really found any strong footing just yet. So it's anybody's game. It could turn around here, or it definitely could keep dropping. Plus, I know it's a lot of speculation going on with AI and the use of all this technology, especially the hardware with all the chips and everything, and like all the use for the servers and everything, being that it could be a potential for a lower energy usage, type of form of using AI and searching and creating different type of things with AI, especially with the DeepSeek play. So if that takes a whole new light, then we could see some issues for a lot of AI plays that could get hit. Now, granted, they did say NVIDIA, and with all the speed that they possess, and yes, you can do more faster, but it's like they playing on the terms of, maybe people may not need all that speed and computing power to just ask AI, write me a beautiful love letter for my girlfriend. That's what the majority of people, like everybody ain't gonna be using AI to build complex code and systems. Most people gonna be using it to write a paper or just write shit and create a picture. So if they go with that move, maybe NVIDIA might just, facilitate the governments and the corporations and the people like DeepSeek is going to flow more into like the Instagram type crowd and the Facebook crowd, or something like DeepSeek. It might not actually be DeepSeek. I know they got American base.
Yeah, I feel like, which is why it's just so much that's going on right now. So, but yeah, every stock looks good for a buy, especially good companies. It's perfect.
Tesla's not good, not looking good in the papers, not getting good publicity, but they up 5% so far, so that's making people money. Nice little push on the stock. You got a lot of room to go up, though. I'll tell you that. If you do catch buys, it'll basically be the rebound of what this did. So that's a possibility. Looking at this trend line after we broke through, we did retest it. I don't know if we're trying to come back down and stuff. That'd be crazy. We do reach down here. But yeah. I think what's gonna push this higher and probably even higher is the potential of them getting approved for the robo-taxi, which I think they are making some strides in that and actually getting that pushed through for like the next year in 2027. I want to say in Cali, which is probably going to be even dope if they do push it through and they get it in time for the Olympics in 2028 in LA. That'd be like ridiculous. If they give them enough time to get all the bugs out, and yeah, it'd be a hit. If they work in LA, it should work everywhere. You know, granted, New York is a different monster, but yeah, that would definitely send the stock to the moon if they pull that robo taxi shit off and it actually pans out to benefit them financially and possibly, well, not possibly, but make it a shitload cheaper for as far as competition with Uber and Lyft, because I think that's why Uber and Lyft is pushing for their taxi services and shit. Because they know if robo taxi get it, they out. Like you could literally, I could take this taxi home for $10, and I live 30 miles away. 30, like like yeah, they'll kill Uber and Lyft to the point to where them niggas have to merge on some shit. It's called Uber. But yeah, that's where we at in the markets. AU has been not great. I ain't gonna lie, I've been playing the daily more than anything. I've just been taking it one day at a time. I don't think I opened. If I did, it may have been maybe a trade I closed. I don't even think I opened a trade last week at all. Type shit. Like I just wasn't. I'm just not seeing it. In hindsight, yeah, I do see this. Um, but yeah, I didn't catch that move. But other than that, I'm kind of looking for my setups using golfings, and they're not happening as often like last week. That was that one, but overall, as we look at hindsight, the market sold off. We had this big bullish push on Monday. Kind of in your mind, especially when you break structure somewhat above like this, you would expect a retest and a continuation. But that also has to play out on a high time frame. And when you see this daily kind of close like this and no continuation, especially when you see the wicks kind of come right to each other, like they just kind of like meet up, or maybe you get one higher, kind of like this, but the body closes and rejects more than 50% of what this candle did. So we pull out this, you see 50% of this green. So you see the candle traded off. If we never would have came this low, we'd have came like the body came here, maybe wicked here, and we just been struggling at it. That shows more sign of that we might be continuing higher. But when the candle that caused us to come this high, that big ass body, when you trade 50% in and you start to dabble into that, then that could be your first signs of letting you know that, yeah, we probably not going to continue higher. And so you can kind of have more confidence on bearish engulfings or just taking sales, judging off of this move. Like, oh, we going up like this and we didn't continue, clean traffic to the left, let me sell into that. Not the case over here. We don't have clean traffic to the left for buys. Not to say that buys can't happen and run through this, but we also know we just did close a bearish engulfing on a weekly. Doesn't mean too much because this weekly didn't really hold much weight, even though it engulfed everything, but nothing continued. and we could be the same. We could be in the same scenario. I ain't gonna lie, that would be a first in a while if we get 2 weeks of engulfing and the next week don't follow with the continuation of the same candle. Typically, even if we don't continue, like what I've seen on a weekly, like the higher the time frame, the stronger the engulfing, like the dominance of that move. So
Yeah.
typically, what I've seen is a weekly engulfing kind of follows by another bearish or whatever that engulfing was, bullish, bearish. The next week kind of follows. If we get that same kind of situation um, on that, then that's kind of telling a lot. But you know that we are in a different type of market scenario, especially it's popping off with a new president,
That's a
a
fact.
new year, new rules, new
Good. I was just about to
focuses.
call it out. You took the words right out of my mouth. It's a different market. Market conditions are completely different than the norm. So, um, yep.
Yeah, it's yeah, it's different. It's unprecedented. I mean, I would say I would be more poised to be like we're gonna see better markets. I want to say like really 2026, 2027. I think this going out the first year, especially with all the things he's trying to implement, collectively, people can't decide on one thing because that's what push markets. If we collectively on AI, we collectively on crypto, we collectively on healthcare, that's what push markets. I think everybody is like, what the fuck? We don't know what the fuck we going. What the fuck is going on? Even the money in AI is starting to come back. Nvidia is losing. You know, a lot of people's, pulling back from their highs. So it's nothing's looking good. Gold is the only thing looking good. But as you can see, ain't nobody talking about buying gold. Like we was talking about all that back in COVID. But now that it's up. Um, and I haven't been watching too much in the news, so maybe they are. Maybe they are. I know usually when markets are bullish like that, it's usually a hot topic, and that's really when the time is not to buy. But yeah, gold is really the only thing that's been making money so far this year, like hands down. So that alone speaks volumes because we haven't had in a while where it was only one primary asset or category where it was kind of booming. Like in the past, I would say last two presidencies with Biden and the first Trump, we we've been having like multiple markets bullish, like just crazy, and that was crazy. That was like a first. Usually it is gold or we chilling in bonds or real estate is booming along with the stock market. Like, but we was crypto and S&P running, good setups in foreign exchange, commodities, all the different indices run. Like everything was going. So maybe this is coming back to like yeah, slowing down that horse. The horse was bucking. Now we're slowing it down, and people, the new people, especially with all these new people coming into the markets after the shutdown when everybody was locked at the house. This is a new market to a lot of people. Well, we only got one thing that's bullish, and it's not really a lot of excitement around gold besides the people who primarily trade it, for leverage. But other than that, it ain't really a lot of excitement. Gold hasn't been running up 100,000% profit like we've been seeing in some of these other companies over the past 5 years and shit like that. So it's not that exciting. But right now, it's the only thing that's making money. So who knows what the future will hold? But we do know. I think everybody is just trying to see how long we're gonna get this sell off and where are we gonna start to see the buyers come in. and really start to turn the markets around. Regardless if it's going to be something the Fed does or something Elon does or Trump, like it's a lot of factors at play. It's not just the markets no more. You know, we're not in a Biden presidency where he ain't really hold a lot of weight in the markets. It was really all the Fed. But yeah, it's a whole different scenario, brother.
Yeah, that is a fact. That is a fact.
But yeah, you got anything you want to add before we wrap it up? Like I said, we'll be back on Tuesday. Look at those news releases.
No, not really. I mean, you already know we should have opportunities, um, you know, for day trades and intraday trades. I do believe. So, be patient, stick to your plan, uh, be risk averse and all that good stuff. But yeah, man, it should be another a smoother week. But like I said, every session is different. So, um, yeah, definitely take care of the bag. You got to go in there a little bit lighter than the normal because these moves are not for sure. You know, a tweak
Raise your mic up a
may
little
go
bit.
for you.
I don't know if you turned your mic down.
Hello, yeah. Um, now I was saying these markets are a little bit different. So like a tweak can make things go crazy. So um, yeah, but you just gotta go in late until we get some better conditions. Like you said, this shit can clear up until 2027 probably. So gotta know what
Facts.
you know what you're looking at.
Take it a little lighter. Like I was saying earlier, that's probably why we've been seeing a lot of light movement and noise in the trading industry. Like you said, there ain't a lot of people going live right now. And you ain't lying, boy. I be looking at people, yeah, a lot of niggas don't be going live. They're used to on a consistent basis. But other than that, man, we still locked in. We still knowing this is one of the ways out, and we're gonna still continue to run these charts, man. Until, like I said, until we get more favorable conditions, we'll be in better positions, holding longer and whatever. But right now, that is not the scenario, as you can see. I mean, that is the weekly, but even on the daily, it's not as favorable as we would want them to be. I mean, hindsight, yes, I can call out trades all day, but in as far as looking at breakouts and retests and coming back to key levels, like yeah, that is all out the water. None of that shit has been set up, as you can see. Uh, so we will, yeah, we'll continue to monitor this, and we'll be back on Tuesday morning, man.
That's a fact. All right, brother. I'll tap in with you.
All right, well, peace.
Peace.